So we're gonna officially kick off this webinar. First, I want to welcome everyone to the first Youibot product release webinar. My name is Hong. I'm from Youibot, and I will be your host and speaker for today. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm the overseas product director of Youibot Robotics, and I have been involved in robotics and automation for more than 6 years. I am a graduate from University of Science and Technology of China and Rice University. And I have also studied at Xi'an University and University of Maryland. Today, I'm honored to host this webinar, which is our official product release for our latest innovation, the L1000 AMR. Without further ado, let's get started. I would like to divide today's session into the following 5 topics. I will start with the introduction of Youibot Robotics, followed by discussing the values of AMR solution. Then we will move forward to the overview of today's main focus, the L1000 AMR, and take a look at some of the key features of L1000. Lastly, I would like to demonstrate some use cases of our AMRs with footages of actual sites. First, let's take a look at Youibot Robotics. Who are we? What do we do? And what we can provide for you. Youibot Robotics is one of the world's leading autonomous mobile robot solution provider and was founded in 2017. We are based in Shenzhen, China, and have regional offices in Suzhou, Beijing, and Xi'an. Later this year, we'll be opening our Japan regional office as well. Here at Youibot, we mainly focus on 2 major sectors: intralogistics automation and intelligent inspection. And we provide autonomous mobile robots, or AMRs, and customized solution to transform customers' workflow to be more flexible, stable, and efficient. Over the years, we have deployed over 5,000 AMRs for over 250 customers in over 30 countries and regions all around the world. Stepping into year 7, we're still maintaining an annual growth of over 200%, and our product have over 300 intellectual properties registered. For the last year, we have a revenue of over 250 million yuan. Now I want to talk a little bit about our team. Currently, the Youibot family has over 350 members, with the research and development team accounting for over 50%. We are always focused on and inspired by new technology innovation and product development. We have participated in over 10 national science and research programs and have over 300 intellectual properties registered. Of course, Youibot couldn't have accomplished these without its customers. With the help of Youibot's partners and integrators, we have served some of the biggest names in the industry. To name a few, in the semiconductor industry, we have been providing AMR solutions for giants such as TSMC and SMIC for years. In electronics, we have been working with Apple manufacturers such as Luxshare and Foxconn. We also served automotive tycoons such as Perkins, Toyota, and Michelin. In the energy sector, we have been the choice of national corporations such as State Grid and Sinopec. We also have live sites around the globe with the names like DHL and Facebook. These customers have provided great opportunity for Youibot and also held us at very high standards, which in turn helped us accumulate vast industry experience and build better products. They are essential for our growth over the years, and we are eager to work with more partners and customers in the future. Now, on to the next section. I'm going to be discussing the values for AMR solution and how could it transform your workflow. In traditional intralogistics or warehouse workflows, material transfer process is typically carried out in these three ways. As you can see from the images, the bottom three images on your screen. One, you would have operators manually pushing carts of material from station to station. Two, you would have operators using a pallet jack to pull cargoes around. And three, operators would drive forklifts and transfer materials. Now, what are the downsides with these traditional ways? On the top of the list would be low efficiency. The tasks I have just mentioned are very labor intensive, and to manually complete these tasks are very inefficient. Imagine a worker pushing a heavy cart around the factory or warehouse all day. His efficiency is limited, just as any other human being would, and it will further drop throughout the day as fatigue accumulates. Which brings up the second issue. Because these tasks are so labor intensive, operators will start to make operation mistakes during the later half of the day, which could be very costly to your business. On top of that, there's the issue of safety risks. Long-term heavy-duty work could cause damage to workers' health. Also, if you have a workflow where there are operators driving forklifts, which is basically a small vehicle, mixed along with operators on the ground, it creates a huge safety risk of collision happening. Lastly, whenever manual work gets involved, the flow of information and data gets easily lost track. This would hinder the digitalization of your business and have a statistical understanding of your operation. Now, let's take a look at when you apply AMR solution to your workflow, all the heavy-duty but dull and boring tasks of carrying materials around and transporting carts are all carried out by the AMR. These tasks that machine are good at can reach higher efficiency. Meanwhile, your workforce are liberated to perform more meaningful and creative tasks that only human can perform. Because AMRs are never tired, they can execute tasks with extreme precision throughout the shifts. Youibot's AMR solution also have opportunistic charging feature, where AMRs are set to charge automatically when it has no tasks. This provides your operation with 24/7 AMR operation all year long. Also, with AMR solution, each material transportation is logged and recorded, meaning you can track your operation data without any barrier. And lastly, AMR are equipped with the latest sensor technology and can reliably avoid any obstacles, whether they are moving operators, forklifts, or static objects, providing top-level safety for your facility. Okay, so for the third part, let's get to the main topic of the day, the L1000 AMR. First, I'm going to introduce to you what is the L1000, and then I will demonstrate how it can help you realize all the amazing values, the AMR solution that I have just mentioned. The L1000 AMR is an autonomous mobile robot designed for heavy-duty material handling. Suitable scenarios are intralogistics workflow For factory automation or in warehouse automation, L1000 can be applied to complete case picking, batch picking, or replenishment processes. For L1000 AMR, the term AMR means that it uses laser slam technology and can self-navigate on brownfield sites with little to none facility changes. This is what differentiates itself with traditional AGVs, which means automatic guided vehicles, that requires you to bury wires on the floor of your site to navigate. We all remember those old products where you have to plan out the wires on your site and then make a huge effort to bury them. And when you need to change them, you have to dig them up again. With AMRs, as your workflow iterates, we can simply adjust the virtual map in the robot software and change the route for them, instead of having to dig up the wires and bury some more. Also, it's much simpler to scale AMR fleet with laser slam technology. In terms of positional accuracy, L1000 can reach plus minus 10 millimeters with just laser slam navigation. L1000 is also equipped with two QR code cameras, one facing up and one facing down. They're used for more precise positioning at docking points and give you option of minimizing the positional accuracy to plus minus 5 millimeters. We call this function fusion navigation, and please do not confuse this with simple QR code navigation. With QR code navigation, you would have to stick thousands of QR codes on your floor and fill up the robot's route. But with fusion navigation, you only have to have a couple of QR codes at the docking points, either on the floor or on the bottom of the payload. The rest of the field do not need QR code all over the floor. L1000 also have a very advanced rotary lifting module. This is what gives the AMR the ability to automatically transport materials. L1000 would drive directly underneath the payload and use the lifting platform to lift up the payload from the stand, and then drive with the payload on top of it. The advanced part about our lifting module is that first, it can independently rotate, and second, the lifting time for each stroke is only 4 seconds. I'm going to talk about that more in the later slides. And even with a rated payload capacity of 1,000 kilograms, the lifting stroke and lifting time is much higher than the industry norms. These advanced features make the lifting process more flexible and efficient. Lastly, the L1000 have CE models that are completely compliant with CE regulations and certified by third-party agency SGS, who is a long-lasting partner for us. L1000 CE models are compliant with Machine Directive, Radio Equipment Directive, and also EMC Directive. Specifically for Machine Directive, L1000 is compliant with the latest CE standard, ISO 3691-4, giving you the best protection on the market. Now, I would like to dive into the system architecture and give you a few. What does the complete AMR solution with L1000 looks like, with the whole software stack and hardware integration? On the bottom layer, of course, would be our L1000 AMRs. Deployed on each AMR is our UI pilot software. This software is developed in-house by Youibot and contains our navigation algorithm. As the name suggests, it's the pilot of our robot. So it also has all the functions that you need to execute task actions, such as motion control, lifting control, and etc. On top of that, it's our UI fleet system, which is a fleet manager and a dispatch system, also developed in-house. You can think of it like a traffic control center of an airport. Receives tasks from upper systems and then dispatches these tasks to the AMRs on site. Typically, each site would only have one UI fleet system that is deployed on the server, acting like a central brain and communicating with all the AMRs. UI fleet also does traffic management, so you can have up to 200 AMRs on a single site collaborating and optimized efficiency as a system, and don't have traffic congestions. Fleet also has standard REST APIs, so you can easily integrate your MES, WMS, or your own customized software with Fleet to create an entire IoT network for your site. If your site have automatic doors or elevators, or if you have sensors or even conveyor lines that needs to join the workflow, they can be easily added to the AMR solution with different protocols. On to part 4, I want to share some key features of our L1000 AMR and what makes the L1000 so special. Okay, so the first key feature I want to talk about is the safety protection feature of L1000. Safety is something that we value the most, and for L1000, we designed a CE-compliant multi-layer detection system. The primary detection is from the LiDAR. The navigation LiDAR has a wide scanning range of 240 degrees and also a CE-rated safety function, which means if it detects anything getting too close to the AMR, it will trigger a hardware e-stop. The reliability of this function is rated in terms of performance level, or the performance level of this function is PLD, which equates to SIL3. On the rear of L1000, we are also adding obstacle avoidance LiDAR to detect obstacles when the robot is driving in reverse. In addition to the LiDAR, L1000 also have a 3D camera to detect low-lying obstacles and overhanging obstacles that the LiDAR are not picking up. This camera has a wide view of 60 degrees by 45 degrees. This is very useful for detecting, for example, the forks of the forklifts or overhanging cables and beams on your site. Also, the LiDAR and camera has what we call zone control. So it has 16 groups of different settings, and L1000 can automatically apply these settings depending on its speed and the area that it is in. So for example, when L1000 is driving in the top speed and in a very open area where there are operators coming in and out, it will apply a setting with larger stopping zone for the sensors to cope with the increased braking distance brought by the high speed. And when L1000 is moving in a lower speed or in a narrow corridor, it will apply a different setting so it can successfully pass through without losing efficiency. Additionally, we have emergency stop buttons for operators to manually trigger L1000's e-stop in special cases. And on the bottom of the chassis, L1000 has 360-degree safety edge in the form of a bumper. If a moving obstacle gets into physical contact with L1000, it will halt immediately. Here, I want to show you a video of how L1000 reacts to different situations with the safety protection feature. When an obstacle gets in the way, the sensor picks up the obstacle, decelerates, and stops. And after removing, it continues on its task. And when L1000 is passing through a narrow corridor, it will adjust its setting and smoothly pass through using a smaller detection range and a slower speed. The L1000 can pass through corridors as narrow as 970 millimeters. Next, I want to talk about the rotary lift platform of L1000. You can see all the specs on the screen. L1000, as the name suggests, has a rated lifting payload capacity of 1,000 kilograms and a lifting stroke of 55 millimeters. And what's innovative about the L1000 is that it will only take 4 seconds to complete the lifting stroke, compared with the industry standard AMR of 10 seconds. We're cutting 60% of that time. In turn, the overall task efficiency is improved. So let me show you the first video. You can see the L1000's rotary platform moving independently with the L1000. And that's the last part I want to talk about. This platform, we designed it to be independently rotating. So you would have three scenarios. One, you can have, if the space is wide enough, the L1000 will carry the payload and rotate with the payload. In another case, when the payload is very big and you don't have enough space to have the whole thing turn around, you can have the cargo along with the lifting platform remain still and have the chassis independently rotate to change the robot's driving direction. And lastly, for improved efficiency, you can have the chassis remain still and rotate the cargo on the L1000 independently. So that's the purpose that we have for efficient docking. And I want to show you the second video. So as you can see, the L1000 lifts up the cart full of weights. It rotates on its own without the cargo moving. And now it's driving in a snake pattern with the cargo remaining still. So this is very important if you want your payload to be very stable and not turn at all. And you want the AMR to drive in different directions to turn or to reverse. We designed this function specifically for this kind of scenarios. Now, in this video, I want to show you the L1000's ability to cope with different types of shelves or carts or pallets. So the L1000 top integration can be customized and tailor-made for you. And we can design different type of upper integration to deal with whatever cargoes you have. Right now, you can see L1000 performed a very fast lifting stroke and then lift up a pallet. And now I want to get into the models. So for the L1000, we have three official models. The L1000, the L1000 CE, and the L1000 CE Pro. So the difference are listed out here. For L1000, the basic model, we have a Hinson navigation LiDAR. And in the back, instead of obstacle avoidance LiDAR, we have a TOF sensor set to detect obstacles in the rear when the robot is driving in reverse. And on the bottom, we have a QR code camera. And for the price compared with our older L1000 model, it has a 38% lower cost. And then when we look at the L1000 CE model, the difference is first with the LiDAR. We're using a different brand of LiDAR that is also a CE-rated safety LiDAR. And this model is completely CE compliant and certified by SGS. And also, this model has a 27% lower cost compared to older model. Now moving on to L1000 CE Pro, which is our premium model. We have a SICK Nano Pro LiDAR in the front, and we have an obstacle avoidance LiDAR in the back. And this model is also completely CE compliant. And also we're adding the 3D obstacle avoidance camera for this model. And we're also adding the bottom and top QR code camera in addition. And even this model have a 19% lower cost compared to our older L1000. All right, so next, I want to move on to some use case demonstrations. I want to show you some real footage of the sites and show you how L1000 can help you to automate. For this video, we're actually working with a customer that works in battery manufacturing. So as you can see, for the first process, we have these other AMRs also created from us, carrying the battery rows around. And now, when these AMRs carry these battery rows to a platform, that's where the L1000 comes in. So as you can see, after the battery rows are placed onto a pallet or a stand, the L1000 would carry these battery rows to a different process and a different workstation. And for this side, I think we have almost 100 AMRs working in this site. So this is the first use case I want to show you. The second one is with the automotive factory. It's our L300 bots, just the same kind of AMR with different payload capacity. Now, for this one, we're helping to transfer diesel engine manufacturing workshop. And you can see we have tailor-made these shelves. And these shelves have components that are processed in different lines. And the AMR would drive under the shelves and carry them to a different station for the next process. Totally, there are 23 workstations for this site, and we're applying, I think, 6 AMRs with replacements. And you can see that we have reduced the labor, the workforce, so that people can work in more productive areas. And we have a ROI under 2.8 years. Now, for the last 3 videos, I want to show you. First one, it's actually from an automotive tycoon from Japan, and their factory is in China. This is our older L1000 model working with their workflow. So basically, the workers, the operators, are using their PDA to order the AMRs to come in and pick up these shelves full of automotive parts, and the AMR would complete the transfer process for the operators. So you wouldn't have 10 operators pushing 10 carts around. Instead, you would only have, maybe 2 to 3 AMRs doing the job more efficiently. And the second video, I want to show you how the L3 bots, our AMRs, can work with different type of shelves. So for this one, we're working with a metal shelf. And then this is basically kind of like a batch picking or case picking in a factory environment. And you can see there are operators putting stuff onto the shelf and then have the robot transfer them to the next station. And for the third one, I want to show you the docking process of the AMRs. So these AMRs are carrying different shape and different form factors of payload. And then for the docking process, we can have automated machines to transfer these payloads onto the next station. All right, so that's all I want to demonstrate with our use cases and in this webinar. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we'll start our Q&A session. If you would please type in your questions in the little Q&A toggle underneath your Zoom meeting, and then I will read them out loud and answer them. All right, so the first question, how do I calculate the required number of robots? Is there a formula or is there an algorithm? Okay, that's actually a very good question. So with our integrators and partners, our solution team actually work very closely with our customers. So how do we calculate the number of robots? It's mainly based on the production rate that you want to achieve. So for example, for the videos that I have just shown earlier, if you have materials that need to be transferred, for example, to another line, and you require 1 hour, there are 7 batches of material to be transferred. We would calculate how much time one robot would take. And then if one robot can transfer, for example, 7 batches in an hour, And if you require something like 70 batches to be transferred, we would just simply divide that, and that would be a simple math would tell you that you would need 10 robots. And then on the base of that, we would then look at the site, look at basically your site's layout, and see if 10 robots can work, in the narrow corridors that you have and can work fine with your site. So yeah, so basically the required number of robot calculation is based on the production rate of the customer. How much stuff do you need to be transported hourly or daily or per shift? And then based on that, we calculate the transfer efficiency made by the robot and divide that. Okay, the second question is, can the robot work in the same control system with robots from other manufacturers? Yeah, so we actually work with a lot of different AMR or AGV manufacturers in the same site. So I guess the question would depends on who we are working with. We have collaborated with a lot of automatic forklift companies. So basically, all of our AMRs can work under the same fleet management system. Uh, in our case, it will be our fleet management system that would have the same protocol with their AMRs and control their AMRs. Right. So the third question is, what is the service life of the robots? This would depend on the kind of project that we're talking about. So if you are very concerned about the service life, you can contact our salespeople about the service life of our robots. But basically, we would have anywhere between 5 to 10 years. Um, Fourth question, are there any parts needed to be replaced after a certain period of time? Yes, so another very good question. The robots have something called spare parts or consumable parts. So for example, the batteries, the wheels needs to be replaced after a certain period of time. And when you purchase the robot, basically we will provide you a list of the spare parts that the robot comes with, and also give you a list of the price of these robots. So of these parts, sorry. So for example, for the battery, we would typically require you to change after 2 years, or for the wheels, we would require you to change after 1 or 2 years, depending on the floor situation. And we'll provide you that list and also that the life of those parts. And you can certainly, purchase these parts from us. Um, Next question is, do I need to carry out maintenance? In what period? For the L1000, we have a maintenance manual for the robot. We have different sections, for example, exterior checks, sensor check, battery check, and wheel replacement, all such in different time periods. So for the maintenance, we have the L1000, we have monthly maintenance schedule, quarterly, you know, stuff that you need to do every half a year, or yearly maintenance. They're all different sections. So we'll give you a menu for that when you purchase the robot, and also along with the instruction. Next question, how long does it take to run the robot in the warehouse? I am assuming that the question is about the deployment time. So again, this is very project specific. We have cases that we can make about 60 robots run in 3 weeks. So that's a very large fleet of robots. We can have it run in the warehouse in just under 3 weeks. And then we have demo projects where the customer only wants one robot to do kind of like a POC project, and we can have it running in just a couple of days. Next question, it's the price of these robots. Okay, so actually, let me move back. Oops, sorry. Let me move to the page with the cost. So if you have been a partner with us and you have our catalog, you can see the order price for the L1000 models, and these three models have you know respect 38% lower MSRP, 27% lower, and 19% lower compared to that price. And for the actual price, I would recommend you to contact our salesperson for the exact price. It depends on the project we're talking about and depends on the services and how many robots we're talking about here. Next question, 5G. Yeah, so the robot, with the standard robot, we work with Wi-Fi. Um, with the Moxa client. And we can certainly cope with 5G with a few moderations to the robot. So it will be adding some new modules to the robot, but we have worked with 5G before with our most of our products actually, and we can quickly modify a 5G version of the robot for you. Next question, can you send PowerPoint and recording of this session? Yeah, sure. Actually, the session, it's all being recorded, and afterwards our marketing colleague will share all the recording of this. Next question, it's in your roadmap, do you have robots that can carry loads of 1500 kgs? Yeah, so for the L1000, it's 1000 kg, and we actually have something called uh, sorry, I can't disclose the name of the product yet, but we have a very customized AMR that can go from 1000 kg to 2000 kg. So that's a very customized robot platform, and depending on the customer's requirement, we would adjust the design very fast and then provide 1500 kg payload capacity. So if you're interested, please contact our sales, and then we'll see how we can work with your project of 1500 kilograms. Next question, it's how long for the battery during operation and how long to charge the battery? That's a very good question. I guess I forgot to mention during the webinar. It actually, the battery takes about 1.5 hours to charge, and the battery can run for 8 hours for every charge. So the battery runs from 20% to 100%. That's the preferred range that we want the robot to operate in. So when you have a robot at 100%, and it will work for 8 hours before it drops to 20%. And if you have a robot that has 20% battery, it will take around 1.5 hours to charge the robot battery to 100%. The next question, it's the speed. All move must be considered. So standard inquiries from. I'm sorry, I can't really understand this question. If you're asking about the robot speed, it's 1 meters per second for empty payload robot. And if the robot has 1000 kilogram payload on it, the maximum speed it's 0.8 meters per second. I don't know if that's what we're asking. Next question is, can the robot run on uneven floor surface? Yes, definitely. So for the L1000, we have a very advanced suspension system where the robot can cope with floor gaps or ledges, uneven floor, incline, decline, we can all work with that. So we're happy to talk with you more if you have your floor surface situation shared with us. We can see if we can work with that. But yeah, the L1000 suspension system, it's very advanced. So we're trying to keep everything on the robot platform stable. Next question, it's gate system for multiple AMRs in single roof. I don't really understand this question again, but for AMRs, instead of AGVs, you wouldn't need a gate system. So AMRs are designed to work with operators on the site. They're safe to work around people, unlike AGVs. So you don't need a gate where you're separating operator zones with the robot zones. And with our UI fleet system, we can manage up to 200 AMRs on a single site. You know, whether it's a big single factory floor or multiple floors connected by elevators. Next question is, can the robot rotate plate without top camera? Yes. So the robot rotating platform can rotate on its own, and the top camera is independent of that. So the top camera is designed to scan the QR codes under the payload to get a very precise position of the payload. And that's only for our L1000 CE Pro model. So if if you have a requirement that you don't need the top camera, we can totally remove it for you and do a cost down for you. Next question is, do you have cases with collaborative robots? Yes, so our AMR works great with cobots actually, or just industrial robots. So there are cases I can share you videos of our you know our exhibitions, our shows that we did, or when we did for actual customers, where there are cobots putting stuff onto the AMR. The AMR is basically carrying a shelf or a cart, and then there are cobots that are carrying stuff and putting it in the carts. Next question is, I see the product at IREX 2023 Japan. Is there a footprint in India? First of all, thank you for coming to the show in Japan this year. We're actually working very close with an Indian company called Grey Orange in India, and we actually did consulting for Flipkart in India as well. So we are very familiar with the Indian market. If you have any project opportunities, please contact us, in India or anywhere in the Southeast Asia region. Next question is AMR handle pallet directly example. So when the AMR is handling a pallet, it would need a pallet stand. It can't work like a forklift where you can directly pick up the pallet straight from the floor. But AMRs can work great with pallet stand, and we can also you can send us a inquiry email, and we'll send you some cases with the AMRs working with pallets. Next question is, how can the effectiveness of AMR in terms of investing money be positioned for the client? Typically, what we provide for the client is the ROI. So we can do that calculation for the client. ROI or return of interest, it's divided by how much of the workforce you're saving with the AMRs and how much the initial investment of the AMR cost. And you would get a ROI of typically from anywhere from 1 year to 5 years. It's very typical. Next one is, how about your after sales service? Yeah, so we have a great after sales service team from Youibot. So they work in different shifts, and they work basically 24/7 for different regions of the world. And we can provide firstly, we can provide trainings. When you first get the AMR and if you're first time working with us, we can provide you all the trainings you need. And then for deployment services, we can also provide that. And most importantly, for any after sales product quality related services or questions, you can always contact us. And based on our SLA, we can provide you a very fast response with our team. Next question is, currently we are using more than 20 AMRs in our factory. In your fleet management, how many AMRs we can add? Well, for the fleet for UI fleet, you can add up to 200 AMRs for a single site. So that all, but can they work well in the same site. That depends on how much, what's the size of the site and how narrow the aisles are. So it wouldn't be possible if they're all crammed up in a very small floor. But if you have open spaces and if you have a large enough factory, we can work with up to 200 AMRs. Next question is UI Fleet software compatible with all WMS? That's a great question. So actually not all WMS. So we understand WMS have a lot of different variations, but we have the standard REST APIs, HTTP protocol. So we can work with everyone by simply adjusting the APIs. It just depends on how we're using the APIs, basically. But I think REST APIs are used worldwide. Next question is charging time and discharging with maximum payload condition. Yeah, like I mentioned, charging time is 1.5 hour and discharging it's 8 hours. Next question, how can I watch the webinar recording? Yeah, so our marketing colleague will send you the webinar recording right after we finish up here. Next question, it's the control software for AI for mission planning of group of robots. Please explain the realistic current achievements. Yeah, if you would like, I can, we can probably schedule a meeting later, and you can send your inquiries in an email. We'll show you some realistic current achievements with the form of live recording videos. So we have actually sites of 150 robots working, and the UI fleet system doing the path planning was basically, if you're familiar with the A-star algorithm, we're basically using that. So yeah, please contact us and we can schedule a meeting to give you more demonstrations. Next question is, how many chargers are needed for a fleet of robot? Are they included in the price of the robot? So the quantity of chargers, we typically recommend one charger for every 3 robots. Or if your site has very good conditions, it can go up to 1 charger to every 5 robots. And they're not included in the price of the robot. They're sold independently. So, feel free to contact our salespeople to learn about the prices. Next question is, hello, do you have a representative in North Africa? Actually, I don't think we have. We have integrators in Spain and in Saudi Arabia, but I don't think we have one in North Africa. So, if you want to work with us or if you're looking for any projects to work on in North Africa, we're definitely very excited to work with you. Next question is, do you have a product that you would like us to visit in France or Europe? We have several projects in Europe. We have worked with DHL in Europe. We have worked with their, DHL warehouses in Germany and UK. And then we're represented by a company called Youibot in Spain, a very good partner with us. So they're in Spain, and we're actually doing exhibition later this year in March, the Laundromat show in Stuttgart later this year. So you're welcome to visit us during that show, and later this year in May, we're going to have a very big project in Berlin, Germany. In a warehouse site, we're going to deploy 95 AMRs for that site. But I don't think that site would be available very soon for visitors. But please contact us for more information on that. And the next question is, does your robot utilize cellular connectivity? I think, yeah, this refers to the previous question of 5G. So yeah, so our robot can use 4G or 5G. The standard robot doesn't have that ability to connect with cellular network. It uses Wi-Fi only. but we can easily change that to work with 4G or 5G, cellular network. Next question is, can this robot travel on inclined surfaces? Yes. So the robot can travel, can do a incline of 3 degrees maximum. So I guess that answers the question. Next one, did you have implemented projects in Russia? Yes, we have worked with a partner called Have Solar in Russia. And if you're interested, please contact our sales. We have Russian projects, and we have the experience of working with the Russia recently embargo restrictions actually. Next one is, what exhibitions in China are you planning to participate in 2024? Exhibitions in 2024 in China. Yeah, so that's not decided right now, but we're actually going to Logimat in Germany this year in March, and then I think we'll be joining some Japan exhibitions. In China, I think in 2023 we did an exhibition in China, but we haven't decided for 2024. So please, contact us if you're looking to join us in an exhibition. All right, I think that's all the questions. Thank you so much for joining today. And right after this webinar, we're going to send out a survey. If you have the time, please fill out that survey for us. It will be very, very valuable for us. Thank you everyone again for joining our webinar today, and I hope you have a good day. Everyone.